Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be answering the most commonly asked questions. These are the comments that people are leaving on my videos. I've answered a couple of them over the years, but I just figured I might as well just put everything all in one video and just leave it at that. To make it easier on everybody, I'll leave timestamps down below in the comments, and it's gonna have the question and then it'll have the timestamp. So all you have to do is click that timestamp instead of looking through the video or having to sit through the whole video when you only wanted the answer to one question. Let's get into it. Let's start this video off with a bang. So the most commonly asked question that I see often and people are urgently wanting to know this is, do you get drug tested? Is there a drug test to get in? For me specifically, I've done this process 3 different times. The first time was when I worked at a credit union. This is all happening during the fingerprinting process, by the way, because they do a background check on you and you have to get your fingerprints done. And the question is, do you get the drug test? Well, the first time I was not drug tested. They said it was a possibility, but I was not drug tested. On the second time that I applied for a different bank, they said that there was a possibility I would get drug tested, but when I went there, I was not drug tested. On the third time when I reapplied, this was to the same bank that I previously worked at because I did take a little bit of a break from working at the bank. You guys know I'm flip-flop between restaurant and banking. When I went back, I didn't think I was gonna have to do the whole background process again, but I did, and that time I was drug tested. So I'm not too sure what that was all about, but I would say it's a 50-50 chance. In my case, it was 33% chance of getting drug tested, but I would say it's more like 50-50. It just depends. I'm not sure if it's random or what it is, but that's just my experience. Okay, next question. What are the qualifications, or do you need to have some sort of degree? Do you need to take a test to get into this job? No, the only thing that I would say that you technically need is a high school diploma or your GED. Everything else is extra, so I would say at least 6 months of customer service and cash handling. Everything else is just extra. You can work on getting your degree if you like while you're working there. They don't require any specific degrees. I would just say just try to be personable during your interview and just come off intelligent, or at least try to come off intelligent. But I want to say working at the bank is mostly being a personality hire because they want you forming relationships with people when you're doing the transactions. So that's what I'll say for that. People are always telling me, oh my god, I'm so terrible at math. How do you do it? Do you like working at the bank and doing math all the time? To that I say there are calculators. There's calculators on your computer. The machines do it for us. They count everything. I mean, you have to be able to count, I guess you can say, but we rely a lot on machines and computers to do a lot of the counting. So don't think that you really have to be that good at math. I'm not the best at math, but I make do. It's just simple counting, I would say. So another thing people ask is, how long is the training? Okay, so you're on a probation period for 90 days. So that's how long I would count personally the training. So in the beginning, they have you like doing training on the computer. Depending on how fast you do online training and you take the classes, it can range from either that whole 90-day period or just a couple weeks. For me, it was 3 weeks. And then I would consider the first 90 days, the whole 90 days, a training period. But however you see fit. As far as pay does depend. For me, this is the highest paying job that I've had that's hourly. I get raises. I don't get bonuses. The only way we get bonuses is if we as a team, like a branch, do well. But at the end of the year, we get our review, and that's how we decide if we get bonuses or if we stay at the same rate. What do we do as a teller? So the teller role continuously evolves. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but if you guys go to the bank, the tellers do a lot more things that personal bankers used to do, especially at the bank I work at. We definitely take on more of a banker role in comparison to just doing, deposit, withdrawal, just the simple stuff. So we do a lot of customer maintenance in terms of, replacing their debit cards, their credit cards, statements, change of address, name change, just a lot of stuff like that, as well as the typical deposit, withdrawal, cashier's checks, stuff like that. So this leads into my next question. People ask me, can you move up from a teller to whatever? So tellers, you have a good amount of options. You can move up into the banker side, or you can move up into the management side. There's two ways that you can go about it. For me personally, I don't want to be a banker. That's just not something that I'm interested in. But because as a teller, we start doing more personal banker stuff, we are able to move up easier into banking because we do have that little, it's almost like a little hole to get us in, like we're digging a hole and getting as good as we can at these little personal banker stuff, so we can move up into the higher banking, which is where you'll actually get paid for the things that you're doing, because tellers don't get paid for the little things that we do as for customer maintenance or account opening or things like that. We don't get paid for that. It's only if you're an actual banker. In terms of moving up in management, since tellers do operational stuff and it's your job to be knowledgeable in all the things that you can do as a teller, you're able to move up into management as well. You just kind of have to take on that role. You just have to start getting yourself into the mindset of wanting to lead, because the first step is having the knowledge, which management is known to have. So if you start as a teller learning all the stuff that you need to, it's easier for you to get into management. Another question people ask, is it a high stress job? For that, I want to say it depends on the day. So the beginning of the month is always going to be a higher stress environment. That's just the way it is in banking. But I will say it also depends on the area and the branch that you're working at. Some branches are obviously going to be higher volume depending on where they're located. And other branches, if they're in a less busy area, of course it's going to be more laid back. I've worked at places that are very, very slow, where it's so slow that I could be the only teller. And I've worked at places where it's so crazy, even with so many other tellers. We can have 6, 7, 8 tellers and we still have lines out the door. It just depends, honestly, where you're working. So I would keep that in mind when you're applying, like what you should be looking out for. Right now, I'm at a different branch currently, and it's in a very small area. It's not that busy on the teller side. So honestly, I'm in a very chill environment lately. In comparison to the last branch I was working at, it's just very high volume. On to the next question. It kind of goes hand in hand. Are you taking large deposits or doing large withdrawals every day? You kind of, as a teller, you get used to money real quick. So I want to say the definition of a large deposit or withdrawal can vary for each person. So for me, a large deposit or withdrawal would be around 200K, 100K, 200K. So if you're thinking a large deposit is like 5K, 10K, 30K, 50K, you get so used to seeing the money that none of that is even large. So people will be like, oh my gosh, I'm doing a large withdrawal, and you're like, okay, you're expecting a large amount. They're like $2,000. And yes, that is a lot of money in everyday life, but when you're at the bank, you see so much that that's going to be a little deposit to you, a little withdrawal to you. So don't be afraid of how you're going to react when you're seeing large amounts of money, because I promise it's just going to be second nature to you. You're not even going to flinch, and you have so many tools at your disposal that you're not really going to be worried about being off or out of balance. It's really, you get used to so much stuff that I wouldn't even worry about how much money that you're handling. It's just second nature, and it's part of the job, and you get used to it really, really quickly. Another question that I have seen is people that are interested in getting a job as a teller. They're like, oh my gosh, I don't see any open positions on the internet. I would say go directly to the website and look at the job opportunities. Say if you're looking at Bank of America, Chase, whatever, go onto that website and look at careers, and then search your area, whatever, and it should populate all the jobs. And those are going to be the legit websites that you're going to want to apply to, because if you search on the internet, there's so many fake websites that are just out there. They copy and paste these jobs, and you think you're actually applying for a job and you're not really applying. So I would say go directly to the website if you're ever going to apply for these jobs. People ask, should I go in and ask them about jobs? I mean, you can, but I promise you they're most likely going to tell you to go to the website and apply. But what I would say is, if you do apply, if you're interested and you do want to, say, like, get your foot into the door, after you apply, maybe go to the branch where they look like they're hiring. It'll probably say, oh, hiring at this address. You can go in and talk to the manager at whatever location you're looking to apply to. Maybe say hello, give them your resume. They may be able to help you, but a lot of it lands on the recruiter, and it's really up to the recruiter to see if they can get you in. Or if you know somebody working at the bank already, maybe try talking to them and see if they can maybe refer you. I know there is a higher chance for referrals to get in. That's always an option as well. Alrighty, I think those were all the most commonly asked questions that I've seen on the videos. If I missed anything, drop them down in the comments. I promise I'll answer them. I don't go through the comments and the old ones as often anymore, just because the video is so old. But on these ones, I'll make sure to respond. I know I may have missed some stuff, but if I did, just let me know. Leave them down in the comments. I promise I'll get back to it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.